Wonderful
Richa.
session. Thank
No
you.
worries. Thanks.
Thank you.
So as we move forward, it's my pleasure to introduce one more distinguished speaker for today's session, Mr. Vipul Gupta, Group Manager, Data Science, Market Access and Pricing at WNS Analytics based in Gurgaon, India. Mr. Gupta is a highly accomplished professional with over 16 years of experience in the healthcare and life sciences industry. He has been instrumental in leading data, analytics, and AI/ML driven transformation initiatives with proven expertise in commercial analytics, supply chain, financial forecasting, and market access and pricing. His work has constantly focused on enabling innovation, operational excellence, and global collaboration across teams and organizations. Before we begin, I'd like to inform everyone that we'll be having a short Q&A session later, so please keep your questions ready. Now let me please join in welcoming Mr. Vipul Gupta, Group Manager of Data Science, Market Access and Pricing at WNS Analytics. Sir, the virtual stage is all over to you.
Vipul, you have to unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Not able to? Team, can you please make him co-host or help?
So could you please try now?
Don't think so. Rachna, can you try again?
Hey, sir. Yes, ma'am. Sir is the co-host now. He has to just unmute.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I'll be using two technologies right now. I'll be using my phone as well as my laptop screen. Okay. Okay.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Sure. Thank you. Sorry for the technical glitch, everyone. And first of all, very good morning, very good afternoon to everyone. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this invitation. I hope I'm not using my headsets. So yeah. Right.
You're audible, Vipul. No problem at all. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. So yeah, my introduction has already been given. So thanks for that sweet introduction. What I have been able to learn over time is that I've seen during my experience how data and AI are changing the way we make on most of the crucial decisions in pharma. That says how we are defining the prices of the medicine. And that's what I've picked as a topic for today, that we'll be talking about smarter pricing decisions. It is exactly about how we can use analytics and intelligent systems to make pricing, first of all, more scientific, second thing, more equitable, and then ultimately more patient centric. That's what we'll be covering today. Let me make it to the presentation mode.
Yeah.
Did it turn to the presentation mode? Okay.
Yes.
I guess there's a little delay, but yeah. Okay. So I'll quickly cover what would be the agenda. I'll quickly talk about small or little details about pharma pricing, why it matters. Then we'll jump on to the role of analytics in pricing. I'll give you a small example as well for that. We'll will then cover how AI and ML are impacting pricing decisions. What is the role and importance of AI and ML? What are the different techniques available? Will share in relation to pricing analytics in terms of how we are using AI and ML across industry, and then we will also talk about some of the challenges which we are facing in AI adoption, and there would be certain actions which we need to tackle those challenges. That's something which we will be covering. And then I'd also like to talk about the career path. So I know there are people who are ready to join the industry and who are in early stages of the career who are a part of the session. So I wanted this to be a part of the session discussion, and that's why I've included this as a part of the agenda of the session. And lastly, I'll quickly touch upon how we should be looking at the future of pharma pricing industry, and that's how we'll end the session. First of all, I know this has been a long day for day one, so sorry for this if I am boring you, but I will try my level best to give you some engaging and insightful details about pharma pricing. That that's what my intent would be around the session. Okay, so let's quickly jump onto our topic and explore how data turns into insights, and then insight turns into better pricing decisions. So before we look onto data and pricing decisions, we'll first understand why pricing matters in pharma. So when we talk about pricing, it's not just about profits. It's not just about profit margins. In pharma, pricing is actually a balancing act between innovation, access, and affordability. So what do we mean by innovation, access, and affordability here is every dollar on that price tag, what we are paying for that for a particular medicine, is actually a deciding factor who gets treated, when the treatment is given, and how sustainable it is. That actually revolves around the pricing decisions. So just to quote an example, a same drug may be costing, let's say, for $100 in India, the same drug can be costing around $300 in Germany and probably $500 in US. The reasons can be different. It might not be because of the molecule changes, but because of the system around it. So when we say the systems, it can be differential. So it can be different regulations across the globe. It can be income levels. It can be healthcare structures. So all these are the factors which can ultimately impact the purchasing power as well as the market dynamics, which will result in different pricing across the globe. So pricing actually defines whether healthcare system can sustain innovation and serve patients fairly. Think about this. If let's say you are a policymaker, and if you're thinking about a cancer drug, would you price a cancer drug to recover your R&D cost quickly, or would you price it to make it affordable for every citizen? That's the particular kind of question where pricing analytics comes into picture. I know there is no perfect answer to it because we'll have to balance both. To the question which I asked, we'll have to balance both. We'll have to, from the organization perspective, we'll have to have the R&D costs covered as soon as possible, but we'll have to understand what is in it for the patient. So we should be empathetic as well from that perspective. So everything has to go in together, and that's where we have pricing in consideration. Okay. Let's quickly understand the pharma pricing landscape. Okay, when we are talking about the pricing landscape, let's quickly talk about the pricing ecosystem. Now, to make sense of this ecosystem, we first need to understand the pricing maze. There are a lot of elements in the pricing maze. From list price to net price, there are multiple layers of discounts, multiple layers of rebates, and reference linkages exists. If you see at the left hand side of the slide, you'll see the pharma price waterfall gross to net ratio. So on this, what we are trying to understand is there are multiple segments from list price to the net price. What is a list price? List price is the starting reference point at which the drug is, let's say, registered or launched. Net price is the price which is, let's say, in simple terms, the patient pays or the payer pays. So that's the net price after discounts and rebates. There are other pricing terms as well. So for example, there are reference pricing. So what is reference pricing? Reference pricing is benchmarking against the comparators. We have tender pricing in place. So when we are tendering against when we are doing competitive bidding, that for contracts, that's where tender pricing comes into picture. Then at the end, but not the least, we have value based pricing. So value based pricing are tied to clinical outcomes. Now these are the various anecdotes which pricing ecosystem had, but we also have some key stakeholders which add value to the pricing decisions. Those five powerful key stakeholders are the manufacturer, the regulator, the payer, the hospital, and the patient. So each one of the stakeholder influences how the value is perceived and how the price is set. Okay. Now let's quickly look at how pricing impacts the first healthcare systems, second are payer budgets, and then the third are payer patient outcomes. So high price therapies can strain national health budgets. It can have limited funding for other essential services like diagnostics or preventive care. There can be fair pricing, which encourage continued R&D investments and access to breakthrough therapies like novel therapies, which can ensure long-term healthcare advancement. So that's something we need to look at. Differential or value-based pricing models can be there, which will be different for different countries at different income levels, basis of based on the basis of different outcomes which we want to achieve, and that can help balance innovation with affordability, promoting equitable access across populations. For example, uh, let's say when high cost oncology drug enter the market, so health systems must reallocate funds or negotiate managed entry agreements to avoid budget overruns. That's one particular example for healthcare systems which we can look at while talking about how we should be looking at the pricing impact. Now from the payer perspective, how does it impact? Let's say let's take an example that in a respiratory care, payers use price volume agreements, for example, for inhalers, to manage spend while maintaining patient adherence programs. So that can be taken as a very good example how payer budgets would be impacted. So which means high launch prices or rapid uptake can create short-term financial pressures, very specifically in single payer system. Payers can often adopt risk sharing, outcome based, or let's say indication based contracts, and that will be used to mitigate uncertainty about clinical or economical value. It can be predictable, transparent pricing, which can help payers forecast expenditures and plan resources allocation for chronic disease management. So that can impact the payer budgets. Now, lastly but not the least, let's look at how it impacts the patient outcomes. Pricing can either enable or restrict access to life-saving treatments. So, for example, in terms of vaccines, let's say in terms of vaccines, what happens is we majorly have tiered pricing model. And why is it? Because there are high volumes involved in terms of vaccines. So high volumes guarantees are there, which enable widespread immunization in, uh, let's say, LMIC countries, low and middle income countries, which help in improving population health outcomes globally. So that's something which will impact the patient outcome. So on the basis of that particular pricing example which I mentioned, the patient outcome can be evolved. There are some other mechanisms as well. Countries might be using external reference pricing, or when I say external reference pricing or international reference pricing, what I mean is it is when a country pegs price to others. That's called international reference pricing or external reference pricing. Now, there are countries who would be taking internal reference pricing as well into consideration for setting the prices. What is internal reference pricing? It is the price where prices are compared within the same market. So that's something which is there. And there are very complex interdependencies across markets on the basis of these reference pricing. Okay. So for example, US relies on payer driven negotiations, and it's a free pricing market. And EU market emphasize on the HTA frameworks, and within EU, different markets have uh, different, according to the different HTA bodies, they have set different pricing rules. So there are various pricing rules as well. So long story short, let's take an example to understand better. For instance, let's say Germany is referencing France prices. I'm just assuming it. Okay. I'm not quoting any reference pricing rule per se here. So let's say Germany is referencing France price, and France is referencing Spain's price. Okay. So if we are making a small change in Spain's price, it will eventually impact when the referencing will happen in terms of the pricing. So a small change in one, so eventually what's happening is a small change in one market is creating a ripple effect, and it is impacting the global markets. So the impact would be global across countries. Okay. So imagine what will happen if you are in a situation that you have spent 10-15 years, what we were discussing in the previous sessions, that in R&D, in drug development phase, you have already spent 10-15 years, and now you are at the ready stage for launch. Okay, just before the launch, you are at the ready stage, and you have been given an opportunity to decide a plan to launch this drug in 30 markets, let's say 25, 30 markets. So, and when I say launch, it'll be in terms of the timing as well as in terms of the pricing. So it'll be a very hefty, very heavy decision in terms of identifying the right launch scenario, launch sequence, and that's where I think analytics comes into picture, because what analytics does is analytics manages the complexity of what we have in terms of the portions available from the data we have. So when we talk about data, pharma has a lot of data available, right? We all know that pharma generates a lot of data, be it structured, be it unstructured. So when we say structured data, we will get sales records of the in-market drugs. We will get clinical outcomes. We will get the data from the various databases available in terms of policies, in terms of HTA rules, in terms of competitors. If we have for the organization and for the drug, then the competitor actions would be there. So there would be a large chunk of data which will be available to us. We can call it ocean of data available to us. But how we connecting that data is we are applying analytics to it. Analytics connect those dots. For example, uh, at the data collection stage, we collect the data from various sources. For example, sales, market regulatory, competitive intelligence, etc. Then we connect those dots from individual data sources and apply analytical techniques like statistical modeling, pattern recognition, and many other techniques. We analyze that data and generate insights. On the basis of the insights we have generated, we finally will be able to make the pricing decision. And that particular pricing decision will be evidence based. So, what backs is that earlier I had that particular data point. Now I have converted that data to evidence. That's the journey of data to evidence, which analytics does. Okay, that's the journey of analytics from data to evidence. What it is doing is it helps us stimulate how price in one country could affect another. So that's one particular example which we have already talked about. It can also forecast market reactions. It can also design the optimal launch sequence. We just now discussed that example, and many more. So yeah, those can be the real scenarios which can be discussed further. Imagine if you have to decide a launch price in 30 markets, what will you do? So uh, each market will have its own international reference pricing, linkages, rules, and price ceilings. In terms of rules, we have price ceilings, we have delays in place, which will be there. So if that's there, what will happen is it will be a chaos, just like we discussed. So what we can do is we can then model it using analytics, and then uh, we can generate a evidence-based precise model. Okay, that's something we can do using analytics. Now to cover that, I've brought a use case for you. That's global launch optimization. Since we were talking about this itself, so let's continue with this example itself and understand how we can optimize the global launch sequence. So let's say a pharma company was launching a drug for novel oncology therapy across 25 markets. Okay, so what would be the question in terms of the manufacturer's mind is, what sequence will give me the best revenue? That too without triggering IRP penalties. So that's something which is a risk. IRP is a risk which everybody would want to cater, everybody would want to mitigate. Okay, so to answer this question, what we can do is we can use tools and technologies. So in terms of tools and technologies, we can build a web or Excel based simulator tool. The tool can be used, Python can be used in terms of IRP simulator. That's a language per se for now. For your understanding, I would say, don't think it like, if you're not aware or you have not worked on Python, it's not very difficult to learn. It is easy, and just like we discussed in the previous sessions as well, nowadays even the development as well is kind of, to an extent, is automated till the time we are having an understanding of how to read that particular documentation or that particular tool. So our analysis or our understanding is more important rather than building a code at that particular point of time. Okay, so coming back to the analytical approach which I was talking about, what we can do is we can create the model. Okay, the model will have the cross market price dependencies, regulatory timelines, revenue projections, all those intricacies aligned to it. Okay, and once everything is embedded in that tool, what we can do is we can run the sequence, or we can run the simulations. I've given you one small example here to run the sequence of simulations, but there can be multiple examples of simulations which can be run, and even you can do comparison of different algorithms, simulation algorithms, and then find the best fit model for you in terms of launch sequence. So that's the next step which we can think of and we can talk about. But yeah, uh, if you're talking about implementing it, we can generate and out of those multiple, it can be thousands, but it depends what's the business need and how much time do we need to spend on, because every simulation run would require some time to run that particular sequence scenario. Okay, uh, even if it is a web-based tool, that time, the hardware tool or hardware will take some time to run that particular tool. So that particular time would be a constraint. So you need to understand what's the best fit sequence scenario or iterations you need to make to get the best launch sequence result. Now, if I talk about result, for sure, you will be able to get some uh, positive results in terms of revenue realization and IRP spillover risks. But beyond numbers, what this model will do. So this is about understanding the particular use case. But what this model has done, what it did is, beyond numbers, it was able to expand my access faster as a company, and as a company I am able to price more confidently now because I have a backing of evidence. When I say evidence, in terms of evidence, I will have from that model, I will have the confidence level that the model will be throwing me that per se 98%. I have this 98 or 95% or 98% confidence on this particular launch sequence that this will give this amount of revenue saving, revenue gain or revenue saving, whatever you call it, and lower the IRP risk. So that's the kind of confidence, or that's the kind of evidence you are generating from uh, the technique which you have used over here. Okay, that's actually the power of blending market expertise with data-driven foresight. Now, what analytics did is analytics told us what happened and why. Now, the real game changer is so we already talked about ML in that particular specific example, but now what real game changer is when we implement AI on top of it. Okay. Now the journey from analytics, ML, and AI would be kind of we are moving from, let's say, descriptive analytics to predictive and to prescriptive insights. Okay, AI and ML. So let's take that one step further. Okay, and they will tell us what will happen next and what to do about it. In so if I talk about AI in pricing, so in pricing perspective, AI can predict most likely price approval range based on therapeutic analogs, STA outcomes, and market dynamics using regression algorithms. It can also create the dynamic pricing models. Okay, by adjusting tender bids in real time using reinforcement learning algorithms that adapt competitive behavior. It can also cluster pairs by behavior, budget constraints, and formulary patterns using unsupervised learning. On top of it, it can also analyze tender documents using NLP. We'll talk about that particular scenario in a little detail. Now, with Gen AI, what we can do is using LLMs. LLM is large language models. We can simulate market shocks. What are market shocks? For example, let's say there's a scenario. What if a new biosimilar enters 10% cheaper? That's the what if scenario. Okay, that's the market shock which the company would have. So Gen AI will be able to cater that. Or for example, what if the HT agency changes the criteria? Okay, so that's the kind of instances in terms of what if scenarios we can look at. What AI can do is AI can help us prepare before the reality hits. Okay, now how many of you think AI will replace pricing managers? Okay, I know the uh, audio is not working for you guys. So yeah, let me answer that. So actually, AI won't replace the pricing managers. What will happen is there would be people in the pricing manager role who would be using AI effectively and efficiently. They will actually replace those who don't use it. Okay, that's how the AI adaptability and transformations are happening. Now let's quickly look at the example of tender pricing model, which is we are using AI based tender pricing model. So what will happen? So from that tender pricing model, what we can look at is what we are doing in tender pricing model is, let's say we have a large chunk of historical data available with us. When we say large chunk of historical data, it will be in terms of the tenders which were received, what was the win or loss record for each tender, what were the payer types, what was the price elasticity, what was the final price agreement which happened in the tender negotiations, what was the price quoted and what was the final price agreement. So everything would be there in terms of historical data. That's what we are talking about in terms of the historical data which is being fed to the system. Okay. Now, once the historical data is fed to the system into, let's say, a gradient boosting model algorithm, on the basis of the data input, we trained that model. We did the model training. Okay. The AI now learned some patterns on the basis of the historical data. For example, which price points typically win which tenders, which sort of tenders, or let's say from which therapeutic areas. There will be different therapeutic areas, or there would be different types of pairs. So can be on multiple scenarios, can be multiple scenarios can be made from that perspective. But yeah, ideally what we want to understand and what we want to get as an outcome is that AI has started learning from the historical data. Okay. Now, once the model gave the, so after learning, what we'll do is we'll test that particular model. Okay. First is the learning phase, then is the testing phase of that particular model. We'll then test that particular model. Once the model starts giving us the satisfactory results on the test cases, then we'll start making predictions from that particular model. Once we are making the prediction, we'll be able to identify, or we'll be able to find the optimal bid price. That's one thing. The right price at which we can win the tender, right? That was our one of the goal. Now, that's the first thing which we mentioned. The second thing is what is the confidence interval and what is the cushion which we can have in the particular price band. That's something which the model can give us, or the likelihood percentages for each tender opportunity which we are going to feed. So that kind of outcome or output we can get from that particular model. Okay. Now, finally, in terms of business impact, what will we get as an outcome? I can right away say what we will get is a significant improvement in the bid success rates. What we can think of, what we have discussed right now is, let's say, think of it as teaching a system to learn what combination of price, timing, and conditions win the contracts. That's all we did in the whole scenario. Okay. And then we are applying those lessons to predict the prices for the newer opportunities which we are going to get, so that we can win the tenders for the upcoming opportunities. Simply speaking, what we taught the system was price wins me the tender as an organization, right? So here we have talked about how AI can help us in various pricing models, pricing techniques. Now, since we have talked a little about AI, there are certain challenges from ethical perspective, from regulatory perspective, as well as some practical challenges. So this is the flip side of the coin, right? AI, we can agree that AI in healthcare is powerful, and it is the next thing which we have already started working as an industry. But at the same time, it must be transparent, it must be fair and explainable. We discussed this in the previous session as well, so I'll reiterate that transparency, fairness and explainability, those are some things which are very important for us to cater those challenges, right? To overcome those challenges. When I talk about transparency and explainability, if we have a black box AI model, there will be accountability gaps. We don't know what's happening inside the black box, right? And as a user, I will not be able to have that confidence on that particular model if that model is not giving me a transparent response. So right now what's happening is, if you're let's say if you're using an OpenAI tool, for example, if you use Claude AI, so what it gives is, it'll give you the response as well as, so let's say you have thrown a query to the tool, AI tool, it'll it'll give you the response as well as the code as well as the processing which has happened at the backend. So it'll give you all the three aspects. So in terms of transparency, I think it is a big win. In terms of explainability, it'll be a big win. But still there are certain gaps. So that's why we must say explainable AI techniques are very much essential. Okay. Now there's another challenge, which is data privacy and security. There are certain guidelines which we need to follow, HIPAA guidelines, GDPR guidelines, and other data protection imposing stricter regulation requirements on how patient and commercial data can be collected and shared. So that's something which is we must be very much aware of. So AI at times, uh, since unless we are building a novel tool internally in the organization, if we are talking about the generic tools which are available uh, as an OpenAI tools, various OpenAI tools in the pharma industry, those particular tools uh, cannot be used with that particular data set, I would say. Uh, as a placebo data or as a dummy data, you can use those tools, but that will not give you the desired result as well. So there is a thin line how you can use it and how you should avoid using it, and how you should be aware what to use, when to use, and how to use. Okay. Now talking about regulatory scrutiny, pricing algorithms are facing increasing oversight around fairness in access, patient safety implications, and potential anti-competitive behavior. Regulatory frameworks are evolving globally. So, for example, regulators like EMA, FDA are increasingly asking questions uh, that can we explain why the model chose this price? So, in I'm not sure, in one of the previous session we were talking about that the regulators are more aligned toward towards adopting AI more than what the industry, in terms of manufacturers or the industry, has accepted or started implementing or using it as per se. So regulators are the first ones who have started using it, who have started understanding it, and also started challenging it at the same time. So it has become a lot more difficult when you get that kind of challenge from the regulators. They're also challenging us, is it free of bias? So we also need to look at if there is biasness or not in terms of the data which is being fed in the model. Okay. In terms of the regulatory guidelines, in terms of pricing regulations, data privacy, all these questions are being asked by the regulators. So those are some things which
देख
we need
कहाँ
to.
अदरवाइज वैसे तो खाई लेती है रोटी का टुकड़ा आके दे दूंगी ना
Okay, I thought there was a question.
No, no, I have muted everyone. Vipul, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, and last but not the least, human in the loop. That's something which is very important. AI should augment, not replace human judgment. That's very critical. Critical pricing decisions require domain expertise. So domain experts would be very much relevant at all the time, because you are the SMEs of the domain. You know in and out about the domain. Okay. And at the same time, you should be able to do ethical reasoning about the questions which you should be asking the AI models, so that you can answer or you can answer the regulators. You can stay relevant uh, in front of the stakeholders, I would say. That's where I think we should always follow the core principle that AI can guide pricing strategies with data-driven insights, but humans must retain decision-making authority. And why I say so is because of the challenges which AI cannot handle, but human intervention is always required in that particular loop. And that's where I would say it is very much required as uh, for patient welfare, for market fairness, for ensuring ethical considerations. Okay, so that was about the AI policies. Now, on this particular slide, you can see I've tried to jot down uh, the whole pharma pricing into four different buckets in terms of how you should be looking at your skills, how you should be developing your skills, how should you should be looking at the tools, and what should be the career pathway you should be looking at. So the intersection of pharmaceutical domain knowledge and advanced analytics creates exciting career pathways, I would say. Success would require a blend of all. When I say blend of all, I mean the technical capabilities as well as business acumen and a deep understanding of healthcare ecosystem. Now, if we say in these four buckets, you have core technical skills, you have analytics capabilities, you have domain expertise, as well as AML specialization. So there would be multiple things under each broad category, but largely speaking, the word of pricing analytics, in terms of pricing analytics, I would say when I say uh, pricing analytics is majorly about data, so you must have complete understanding or you must be uh, a data expert. No. So first of all, you need to understand what brings you to pricing analytics. This the first thing is your student foundation, which you have already done. So or you are currently work in progress mode from that perspective. So you are gaining that domain knowledge from your respective colleges, universities, or programs, wherever you are at the start of your career. What you would do is you will get on job means at the start of your career you will get on job trainings, but to be ready to get on job trainings you need to learn the basics of some of the tools which are very much required in the industry. For example, get an understanding of Python, Power BI, uh, Tableau, SQL. These are on top of your domain knowledge, which will help you understand better the data which you are working at. If you are working in the field of data driven analytics or AI driven field, I know the whole industry has elements of data and AI, but in some pockets it will be higher, in some pockets it will be lower. So some of the aspects, I would say, in pricing analytics, the major role would be understanding the data as well, and the basics for sure would be your domain knowledge, but understanding of data would be required. So if I talk about pricing analytics, you will have to have that understanding. You will have to combine your these technical knowledge which you can gain. It's not very difficult to access those courses. These are publicly available. Some free courses also are available. So you can get those trainings done and be industry ready. Okay. And then don't forget your domain knowledge about HTA, how the pair behaves, what are the reference pricing rules. Uh, Read about that. Read about the different papers available. What is the global pricing strategy, global pricing policy, GPD norms. Those will help you shape the real world decisions, and that will be impacting in future, that will be impacting millions of patients as well when you are working in the industry. So you're going to impact millions of lives. So be ready with all your arms and ammunitions. That's what I say to my colleagues as well, to my juniors as well, within the organization, that we should be having all the arms and ammunitions ready, so that we have to apply it. So whenever we have to apply it, it is available at our ease. So we should be at ease to use it whenever or wherever. Okay. So there are multiple roles for which we can say those are emerging. The specialized growth, which you can look at and then go to the leadership position. So for example, pricing and market access analyst would be the starting role. If you are trying to get into data science from here, then commercial data scientist can be a career pathway. If you're trying to move directly to AI from here in the pharma industry, AI consultant can be the role. Even the product strategy team can be there, where you can support the product strategy. So all of these roles are open, and all of these roles would need analytical mind. Okay. So if you love data and want to make healthcare fairer, this is your space. That's what I would say. Before ending the session, I'd like to cover what is the future of pharma pricing. Let's end uh, with a glimpse of what is in future for us as an industry, I would say. So pharma pricing is shifting focus from price based to value based models. We've talked about value based a lot of times in our current discussion, as well as in the previous discussions today during the whole day. So uh, that's where what you pay is tied to how much benefit the therapy is delivering. Okay. That's what is the future of pharma pricing is. Imagine real time forecasting models. So we have also talked about digital twins that can simulate entire healthcare systems and even personalized pricing. I really enjoyed the discussion which we were having earlier. We talked about these particular aspects in our previous discussion as well. So I will not talk much about it now. But yeah, these are the future of pharma pricing, where we are going to look at, where, for example, your payments are done, how the medicine works for you. Okay. We are entering a world where pricing isn't about cost anymore. It's about measurable patient value. So value is the term, or patient value is the term, to be precise. If I look at it from that perspective, that's where we are trying to look at. And those who can bridge I would say science, those who can bridge empathy. That's something will define the next era of pharma. That's something which I had for you today. I'll end with this particular quote that artificial intelligence is not a substitute for human intelligence. It is a tool to amplify human creativity and ingenuity. That's what a quote which I really like. I chose this quote specifically because this is the age of AI, but we still want to ensure that human intelligence is very important. Okay. We have heard some of these examples in the previous sessions as well, just uh, like that. So yeah, I would also emphasize on the same thing, that human intelligence, human creativity, that's something which you guys should be focusing at. That was all from my side. Thank you very much. Open for questions.
Thanks, Vipul, for such nice and practical session. I would say, team, please ask questions. Ask your questions to Vipul as much as you can.
I think people would be this was the last session of the day.
No,
So
Vipul, we have 2 more days to go. If they're tired now, how will
no,
they break
I,
next two
I
days?
was saying for the day.
No, no. So people have started writing questions.
Yes, ma'am. Can I take up
Rachna,
the
if you can,
questions?
please.
Yes, ma'am. We have a question from Sharmila. How can budding entrepreneurs in pharma or AI sector identify unmet needs or market gaps in healthcare pricing? And what tools or frameworks would you recommend for this analysis?
So while we are talking about unmet needs and these aspects, when I say so, we look at so this is a very attached lining from pricing perspective, I would say, to market access. So in terms of the linkage, I would say it links to market access when we are talking about unmet needs. Uh, this is a journey which starts from the drug discovery level, and the pricing analytics ends till the mature stage, till the lifespan of the drug ends. But yeah, when we talk about drug discovery level, when we are talking about market access needs, unmet needs, so we are doing, there are multiple I would say analysis, cost utilization analysis, uh, in terms of your HEOR scope. You will have a lot of studies which can be done from that perspective. So your budget impact analysis is there, which you can do to understand what would be the impact of a particular budget. You have the quality of life years assessment you can do on the basis of the drug, for that particular drug. You can understand the patient level data, what is the need of the patient, and then on the basis of that particular need, you can work on the solutions accordingly. I'm not sure, this was
Yes.
a very, very broad topic. So I was trying to cover multiple aspects into it. Uh, Hope I was able to answer as per your expectations.
Yes, sir. And we have one more question from Mirza Aminur. Sir, as a PharmD graduate, which field has better future for us, HEOR or data analytics, and how are these two fields related to each other in pharmaceutical industry?
Sorry, your voice just break down.
They're asking Vipul which field is better, HEOR or data analytics, and how are these two fields related to each other in the pharmaceutical industry?
Okay, so let me give you my background. I would say, uh, you will I will not directly answer this question, but yeah, when I give my introduction of my background, probably you will understand how to answer the question yourself. So I am a computer engineer by education, did my MBA in marketing and IT, and did a course in data science and analytics from IIM. So nowhere in my education journey, pharma was related. But yes, what I'm doing right now is why I am associated with pharma pricing and analytics is I understood the domain. So where you guys have an edge from me per se is you have an edge of understanding the domain thoroughly. I might not be knowing the concepts to that extent which you guys know, because I I have not gone to the class which you have gone to. I've gone to a different class, and I'm from a old school, different generation as well. So my mind is a little slow as well from that perspective, probably as per.
No, 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 we can't say that. No, no, no. No, but yes, we get the answer, and people have been asking such questions to all the experts. People, I mean, the common answer is to each his own. Do what interests you. You can learn along the way if you have the learning agility. That's all we can say. It doesn't matter to which school you are going, right? So it's completely up to individual.
Agree.
Yeah.
Can't agree more to that.
Yes, sir. And we have next question. If our competitors are also using AI for tender pricing, does that limit our advantage and reduce how confident we should be in our analysis?
Uh, no, I would say if you're using the analytics and tender pricing, so I would say this is a topic wherein if you have confidence on a particular tool and technique, so basically what you need to understand is how to understand that particular concept. Basic question is uh, you you don't uh, go from the top, go from the bottom. So understand what I am trying to get, what is my requirement from that particular tool or from that particular technology, what my requirement is. So that's particular intent identification is very important, be it tender pricing, be it revenue management, be it launch pricing, whatever it is, wherever you are applying the AI model, the AI tool or ML, wherever you're applying whatever technique, the important thing is, are you able to identify or are you able to analyze the result which you are getting from that? If you're able to analyze the result which you're getting from that, and then after understanding that particular result, are you able to enhance that particular model? That's something which is very important in this case, I would say.
Yes, sir. And we have one more question. Akanksha says, thank you for a detailed and insightful session. What challenges do you see in the age of AI with data analysis, and how should we use AI when it comes to data analysis?
Okay, so yeah, I already covered the challenges while using AI. That's something which we should be focused at. So I'll not repeat everything which I covered in the session from the perspective of the challenges, but yeah, transparency is something which we discussed, that AI when we are implementing AI, we should be very transparent in terms of what we are having. There are certain challenges in terms of the data privacy. That's something which is very uh, regulatory compliances and challenges are there. Those we should be adhering to. while we are implementing any AI tool, or I would say building any particular AI tool. So the data is available. The data is freely available on lots of sites. But yeah, if the data is anonymized, you're free to build those models and tools. If you have some very sensitive information in that particular data source, you must be very vigilant.
Thanks, Vipul, for the insightful answers. So, uh, Rachna, you have closing remarks for today. Maybe we can close today's session. Such a wonderful and
Yes, ma'am.
engaging day it has been. So, over to you, Rachna.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Vipul Gupta, for sharing your expertise and valuable perspectives with us today. It was truly a pleasure to have you with us, and thank you once again. So, as we come to the conclusion of today's session of HEOR and RWE Vanguard 2025, I'd like to express heartfelt thanks to all our distinguished speakers for their time, wisdom, and expertise. And a big thank you as well as to our organizing committee, to our wonderful audience for making this event such a success. Thank you, and I wish you all a wonderful evening ahead. And I hope you all to see again tomorrow. Thank
9:30
you.
a.m.
Thank you all for
IST
joining.
sharp.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
9:30 a.m. IST sharp. Exactly. Tomorrow we'll see you all. And it was a wonderful day. I'm seeing that, our audience is constant with us, even after the lunch sessions. Even after the lunch in the sessions, our audience is there, and they're very, enthusiastic to learn. Thank you very much, guys, for, joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow then. And tomorrow, all the presenters, be ready, because parallelly from 1 o'clock, we will have your presentations as well. Okay, so the people who have the presentations, they will be just coming, present, and come back here to, this conference tomorrow. Okay, so see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much, and it was a wonderful day. And we are now, wrapping up this. So thank you very much. Thank you, Rishaji. Thank you, Rachna. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
everyone.
We'll see you
Bye-bye.
then. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.